So you and I were talking the other day about how times have changed, and I thought it was pretty amusing, some of the things that you were remembering and that I was recalling. We let's see, we met about 30 years ago.
86.
So that was around the time they were just getting ready to launch the first home computers, right? Or they had?
Well, yeah.
There were like a few
like
beta.
no Windows or anything. It was
No,
just
it was
DOS.
all DOS and
or Mac. We had Macs in
it was
college.
like prehistoric
Yeah.
compared to what you have now.
And
You were looking at binary or whatever on
yeah.
the screen.
I did a report in college on the fax machine.
The
It was like
fax-
the coolest thing ever, and I had never used one, but another student and I did a report on it. It was so funny.
Yeah,
We didn't have cell phones.
right. I remember when you and I went out on our first date. You were so amazed because my friend had a phone in his car.
Oh my God,
It was
the
a car.
best.
It was a car phone.
I was like, what? I gotta call my mom.
Yeah, they called them car phones, right?
Yeah.
And it was like in a bag,
Yeah, I was just gonna say a bag phone.
and it had a cord connected to it, like
Yep.
a spiral cord.
Yep.
And that just blew your mind. You called your mom. Mom, I'm in a car driving down the road, and I'm talking to you on a phone.
She was like, what? No
It's a
way."
telephone in a car. We're not in a house. And then a couple of years earlier, before I met you, I had a girlfriend I was working with at the time, and she was telling me, yeah, my father and I had a conversation today, and he was outside in the yard, in the garden. He was gardening and talking to me on the phone. I said, "That's
How cool is that?
how is your dad has a really long cable. Got a long cord, your dad. Well, how?"
He had a
She
long
said, "No."
antenna.
No, he had a phone with an antenna.
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, it's a portable phone." I said, "A portable phone?" I couldn't believe this.
So fun.
Yeah. Do you remember that, having the first portable
Yeah.
phone?
And the farther you got away from the base, it got all staticky
Yeah.
and
But
yeah.
still, it was a
But it was very cool.
technological
outside.
marvel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I recall when we first met, we used maps.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like treasure hunters back in the
Oh
day.
yeah. Thomas Guide. FH16.
If you don't know what a Thomas Guide is, that's when you lived like in a big city like LA.
Yeah.
You had a map. You couldn't just have one map. You had
A book.
It was an
It was a big,
ingenious
thick book.
invention. It was a
Yeah.
book, and it was like spiral,
Yeah.
and you would flip through and find a
Your
grid. It was
neighborhood.
like 1 mile grids, right?
Yeah.
So you would just, and then you would refer to the next page to pick up. Yeah. So it was a really
yeah.
cool way of getting around.
It took a little bit of time to get around.
But before Thomas Guide, you had just big maps that you'd have to open up in your car, and you'd have to pull over, and sometimes you'd have to get to a gas station and get to a phone and call somebody.
Yeah, you'd have to go to a payphone.
Yeah, you get on a payphone and call and hope that they were there to answer their landline.
Yep.
And give you finishing directions on how to get to a house or a business. But man, it was so different back then.
And sodas came in tin cans that you had to get a
Yeah.
can opener to
They were a
open.
tin can with a seam, and we got a lot of people that are older than us, some
Oh, they'd have seen more
considerably,
changes, yeah.
that can tell us. Be sure to comment and tell us about the things you remember changing. But man, I remember, let's see, I worked for right around $2 an hour or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
remember.
It was low. It was real low.
$2.25.
And
Then you'd get a raise to like
And I worked.
$2.45.
hard for that money, and I was happy to get it. And I thought of money in terms of beer. Like I would say, well, man, I worked for a couple hours. That ought to buy me a 6-pack.
Ooh, beer was cheap back
Or I
then.
would, no, I don't know. I would go out and drink in a bar and be there for a while, and I'd be like, well, that was half a day's pay.
Oh man.
And then I got I always thought in terms of beer.
Yeah.
The
Well,
more-
that's all you need.
The more things change, the more they
Sustenance.
stay the same. And then I got my first movie job, and I remember thinking, man, this is like 10,000 beers. I'll survive beer for a year now.
I'll never die.
But my mom was born in 1928,
Yeah.
and she learned to drive on the Model T, in a Model T Ford.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, her uncle taught her how to drive.
Yeah, I remember her telling us stories
About the Depression.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
She had her own stories. It's all relative, you know. It's every generation has seen
Big changes.
Big changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was listening to a man the other day he's probably dead now, but he was born in 1910, and he said, "Now, when I was a boy, we didn't have cars, we didn't have telephones, none of that." He said, "I saw all of that come into existence."
Oh my gosh.
So these people are leaving us now. The people that remember
Talk about a rough life.
really big changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
They really had to use their noggins.
Mm-hmm.
No calculators in their pockets.
Yeah.
Oh, and our first cell phones.
Yeah, they
were
were
like
gargantuan.
this big.
They were like cinder blocks.
They called them bricks.
Yeah.
You could throw them. You could do anything to it, and you couldn't kill it. I remember getting mad at mine and just slamming it. And
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah. And what about like music?
Yeah. If
Remember?
you wanted music at the beach, you brought your boom box.
You had to have a boombox.
Yeah.
And then I was just so amazed 20
yeah.
years later when they came out with the little music players. I
Little
was like,
nano
wow.
iPods.
Yeah. No more need for those big old like,
Oh my
shortwave
gosh.
radios.
Yeah.
We had transistor radios when I was a little kid. Remember those?
Yep.
With the antenna sticking out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You could stick your earphones that were like this big into it
Yeah.
and listen to your 8-track.
And nobody.
Or yeah, 8-track tape.
Another thing I remember is people had different sensibilities. Like nobody, you never ever saw anyone on a bicycle with a helmet.
Yeah.
Nobody thought of that. You remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
There were way less safety rules.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I know you didn't have to, but I had to wear my seatbelt because my mom
Never wore a
made
seatbelt.
us. Whenever
Never
we got
wore
in the
them.
car.
When-
I wonder how she knew. I mean, because there were no PSAs back then
Yeah.
that said you need to wear your seatbelt, but she was always, as soon as we got in there, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, yeah. You were. That was more structured. See, and there are like pictures of my mom or video, like 8mm film. They would take a baby in a bassinet and set it on the back seat of
yeah.
the car, and you know, because you were taking your life into your own hands when you were driving around in an automobile, and that's the way it was.
Yep.
But nobody was strapped in. I don't know what
There
year.
were seatbelts. Well, not in all
they
cars,
came. Yeah, I
but-
think they came in
Yeah.
maybe in the 50s, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know for sure. They had them, but we just didn't use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way less safety conscious.
And people ate a lot better. They didn't eat the, you know, it was like,
Well, and the seeds that you grow wheat from were completely different. That's
Yeah.
why people just are intolerant of them now.
yeah, because it's all
Way back when
genetically
it was-
modified.
Yeah, back then it was just natural and
Yeah. And you didn't
it was
see,
good for you.
you rarely saw obesity. And well,
Yeah.
you saw it, but it was like now it's more common than
Yeah.
ever.
Yep.
It's crazy how common obesity is. Look, there's a snake right there.
Oh yeah.
It's a green snake.
Oh, look how cute he is.
Are you going to pick him up?
If I can get him without him going away.
Just grab him quick. Oh. Our girl caught a beautiful little snake. They always are right
Oh,
out
he's
here.
so cute. Look
Yeah.
at his little eyes.
Hey, little snakey. I love these little green snakes.
So cute,
that-
little guy.
I remember them. There were plenty of them growing up. They haven't changed a bit.
Yeah. What is this? Just like a garter snake?
I think it's called a rough. I'm not sure of the name. It's a green snake. Yeah,
No.
I think they call, yeah, Jen. I think they actually call it a green snake. It's a rough, or a rough skin.
Like
There's some
a
that are really smooth. I don't know.
He's a constrictor.
Look, he's ready to bite you.
Aw, he
Put your
is
hand
not.
up. Yeah, let him bite you.
He can't bite me. He's trying to sniff me.
How funny. A girl and her snake.
Ooh. Oh yeah. I'm gonna wear it. Be my bracelet today.
Isn't that a beauty?
Whoa.
It's like a legless lizard.
Wow. He's trying to jump. I'm gonna put him on a tree.
Okay. Here, put him right here. Yeah, they love those trees.
Blends in perfectly.
Beautiful.
Stinky.
So yeah, I know, and like I said, I know that we have a lot of people that are older than us and wonder what you guys remember.
Yeah, tell us some cool stuff.
Yeah. It was hard to,
Poe smells that snake.
yeah. Anyway.
Fun stuff, remember.
Yeah. I guess I like the way things are okay. I like technology, but
Love my cell phone.
yeah. Me too.
It's like my right arm.
I might consider trading it to go back in time to a simpler day.
Oh, well.
Would you?
To be younger?
Well, to be younger and to have a simpler time. You know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think? Would you guys trade in all this marvelous technology to go back to a simpler day and time?
Maybe for a day.
All right. Well, let's go up to our modern kitchen and put dinner on.
All right.
Shall we?
Sounds good.
Thanks for watching, everyone.